Welcome back to Saved by the Bell. Today we are joined by Joe, who's one of our lovely, handsome, well-endowed patrons. Say hello, Joe.
Thank you. Hello.
Toby's not here because he fell down the well.
Alrighty, so the story that was requested by Joe is Whistle. It's on the Creepypasta wiki. I've never heard of it. Let's get crack-a-lacking. The specific memory from my innocent childhood was so vivid.
Okay.
It's not a very well put together sentence.
Or a very good way to start anything.
I thought I've forgotten. Oh my god. Okay, I'm not going to harp on about this throughout the whole story. I was trying to get this out of the way now. Please proofread your shit. We've been over this before, guys. Proofread your shit before posting it.
Yeah, this is why I suggested it, because it's not absurdly bad, but there's a lot of this really weird, stilted sentence structure that is just poorly put together.
Thanks for that.
But it has been lingering in the back of my brain, just waiting there, waiting for it all to come back to me. Is it too soon to make a John McCain joke there? I'd probably end up cutting it anyway. Causing me fear and paranoia. Delusions occur often as it comes by, taunting and haunting me, never stopping. It hurts me inside. The dreadful tune, the catchy whistle. As it plays, it comes out as a low, soft tune. It seems peaceful, but it's dreadful. Oh my god, this is just... What is this? What is he talking about?
Maybe he's just like me. He really hates whistling. I friggin' hate whistling as well.
As a 6-year-old child, I was curious about certain things. Adults, school, life, and most of all, full stop, ghosts, full stop. Also, don't start a story on the internet with as a 6-year-old child, I was curious about adults.
Yes, yeah.
So I went to this chat room.
As a 6-year-old child, what were you really curious about school? Because when I was a 6-year-old child, all I was thinking about was candy, the toys I was playing with. You know, maybe if my brain could push hard enough, I could think about what we might have for dinner, but I certainly wasn't thinking about school.
As a 6-year-old, like, you think like things like, man, I hope I'm a transformer when I'm older.
Yeah, literally, my memory of being 6-year-olds, like things I was curious about, how fast I could roll down a hill, and whether or not the Green Ranger would ever get his powers back. That's like...
I think like I saw something when I was 6 that I later learned was my dad's porno mag, but like even at the time I'm like, you can't tell me that a 6-year-old child was interested in ghosts. You don't.
It's just a funny list of, like, you know, got all these other worldly, such a worldly 6-year-old, and ghosts.
On my 6th birthday, I received a detective case and supplies. It was amazing. I was the most boring child in my school and was heavily bullied. I used to go around my large, spacious home pretending to be a detective. I remember when my friends and I... Full stop. That's not a... I remember when my friends and I... Just that's the whole sentence. Bill?
Mate, it's just true. I remember my friends. Oh, I had no friends.
Bill, Jack...
I was a total fucking swat.
Bill, Jack, Tony, Parker, and Toby Keck. We lived near a park every day. It's the wrong every day. Our parents would drop us off at the park to play. I never realised the oddities of this park until it nearly destroyed me.
What, financially?
Spiral slide! My friends and I were playing at the park. A classic game of tag. Full stop. Something that a normal child would play as their childhood continued. Sure? 13-year-old child still playing tag. As I climbed the tall, sturdy playground, well, I hope it was, I lost my footing and descended down. You mean you fell? I hit my head hard on the wooden board. Okay, well, there was no wood chips? No sand? Usually that cushions your fall.
Play area. Shouldn't there be something soft under you? Or at the very least some like soft tarmac stuff that they put out on them?
Yeah. Maybe it's done like this is like the early 90s, 80s sort of thing where it's just concrete.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, natural selection, right? The strong kids survive.
Say that. Weed out the weak ones.
Yes, weed out the weak ones as they throw themselves off the top of the play structure. I passed out. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, you fell, you hit your head, you passed out. Don't you mean you died or you got knocked out?
You cracked your head. You hit your head. Like one of two things: you die, or you hit your head and you start crying because you're 6 and you just hit your head.
But I could still hear the innocent voices of my childhood friends. What were their names? Ah, who gives a fuck? I could hear crying.
Dancer, Prancer.
I found myself in a hospital. Oh god, here he comes. The child's hospital, as opposed to the adults. I had not yet learned how to sleep by myself, thankfully enough. I don't think you learn that. I think it just happens when you're tired. My parents stayed up all night. As I slept, I had entered... Oh! Oh, I forgot. I had entered astral projection.
Fucking what? Okay, no. You don't have a bunch of fucking filler and like build up of nothing at the beginning of your story
You
to
crush
just
your head.
drop astral projection on us immediately with nothing. No lube, just straight in raw with astral fucking projection.
Bent over a barrel, no lube, square dick.
I became a wizard. I didn't know I was astral projecting. On that same night, I got past the astral plane, where the lost souls and devils linger and roam freely. So, like,
What the fuck is he talking
What
about?
sort of new age hippie horse shit is that? I cracked my head and then I became a fucking medium and launched my fucking soul out. Like, what?
Yeah, well, we've established. You set yourself on fire, you become super strong and unstoppable. This kid clearly became just the mind. He's he's going to lead the human race into a new era of all knowing and peace on the astral plane, indeed. Hoping to be free by entering a human body. Okay, that's referring to the demons, I suppose. As I roamed around, I heard the dreadful whistling sound. Oh, okay. Oh, he heard a dreadful whistling sound. Like,
Literally the only reason you decided to read this is for that fucking joke.
well, it was pretty good though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was quite a good joke. This problem here where it says, like, hoping to be free by entering a human body, because it's, he's talking about what he was doing, and then he talks about the demons, and then there's another full stop, it's the start of a new sentence. It sounds like he's listing off things he was seeing and doing. So, again, grammatically, it feels like, I was hoping to be free by entering a human body. Like, you already have one, all you've done is crack your head open, you're not paralysed.
Yeah, go back to your own, it's right there. Peaceful, but somewhat depressing and sorrowful. Yeah, the Andy Griffith Show was that. I finally woke up, sweating profusely. I saw my parents sleeping on the pullover bed on the couch. The pullover bed is the couch. You know, the couch folds out. Am I reading that wrong? No? Sleeping on the pullover bed on the couch. No, yeah. I wanted to cry, but couldn't. Nothing came out of my mouth. My eyes filled with tears.
Cry out your mouth now.
It couldn't flow. What? My eyes were filled with tears, but they couldn't flow. Okay. I sat there being devoured by the pitch black room. Well, it wasn't pitch black, because you could see your parents.
And there's no Vin Diesel. My parents and Vin Diesel. The Dr. Vin Diesel.
I felt it coming. Oh, don't take that out of context. I finally fell asleep. After a few years... Okay. I never heard that whistle again.
Wait. Like, the way it sounds, like, the way that's structured... Did it sound like, and then I fell asleep for a few years. Like, was he in a coma for like 6 years or something?
Yeah, you're right. It was like that Sonic one where it was like, I played Sonic R. A couple of days passed. I was 12, entering grade 7. Nervously, I put on my new clothes. Simple, but looked great. As I looked into the mirror, I noticed something different about me. I was tired, and my eye bags were dark and puffy. I ignored it and washed my face, making sure to enjoy the splash of ice-cold water. No, the splash on ice-cold water.
What, so you just throw some water onto some water?
The F is it's on the opposite side of the keyboard as the N. How do you fuck that up?
The first week of school went by. followed by the second. No shit!
Time went forward in a linear fashion.
On the third week of school,
My true love
great
gets to me.
sentence, I heard the whistle. I was walking to school. I could hear the sound of birds chirping and the wind blowing. The skies were clear, and the hot sun blazed upon my back. I entered the schoolyard. I saw a bunch of kids on the playground, happy and energetic. As I got off the last flight of steps on the stairs, I heard it, the whistle. I started to feel dizzy and drowsy.
Do it because I'm laughing.
I could notice black patches as I looked across the schoolyard. I started to see things. Demons. Figures. Men with arms as large as a 10-foot pole. So men with 10-foot arms. That's so weird. Why a
It's
pole?
not a vague measurement.
Yeah.
Like, arms are as long as a street light or stuff like that. No, here's an exact
Yeah.
measurement. So, yes, like...
The man's arm was as long as a yardstick, so he had a yard-long arm then. What the... It's just so weirdly worded. It's just a 10-foot pole. Arms, it could be anything. Arms as long as a 10-foot piece of spaghetti. His arms were as long as 10 feet of curly-whirly.
It doesn't necessarily tell us anything about these figures that should make us worry about seeing them. That could just be a normal guy. You know, if you've ever been to the Guinness Book of World Records Museum, you can see some pretty weird-looking people. That guy could just be especially oddly proportioned.
I turned behind me to look at what was tapping on my bony shoulder. A blood-covered entity. Is that all the description we're going to get? Okay, I passed out.
He was as tall as a 5-foot stick.
Waking up in the hospital. When I got home a few days later, I was able to function without the dizzy feeling. As I laid on my bed one night, I started to hallucinate. I looked up. Are you sure you weren't astrally projecting again? I looked to my sides, figures pinning me to the bed. I struggled to break out, but only managed to roll out of my bed and onto the cold, hard ground. I struggled even more. I looked at my walls. I could see scratch marks on them. My posters of NBA players covered in blood. I screamed, but no one heard me. I was petrified. I didn't know what was happening to me. I couldn't breathe. I eventually blacked out.
I woke up, struggling for air. I started to go insane.
Again though, he was really fucking descriptive.
Man, were you getting hit by a dot? Your insanity meter was going up?
I don't get why this guy's really descriptive at the beginning of the story. Like, let me tell you about what the floor was made of when I was climbing up a slide. But now he's like, I was astrally projecting, and then I went mad.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the exact sort of thing about insanity whenever it's addressed in these types of stories, is that you don't start to go insane. There's no real beginning and end to that. In a matter of speaking, I don't know. It's too much to go into.
I'm not an expert in the human psychology or mental, but I know it doesn't work like a game of Call of Cthulhu where you have sand points. Yeah. I'm gonna start pooping everywhere.
Alright, but I tore down the posters on my walls. I cried loudly. Oh, so I tore down the posters on my walls, I cried loudly. I started to throw things across my room. I couldn't stop. I was scared. Scared of what? I eventually stopped kicking and punching my bedroom walls, feeling no pain. I don't believe that for a second. As I cried in the corner of my room, I saw my hands covered in blood. My parents entered the room. Oh god. They held me tight, crying with me. They didn't know what was wrong either. Well, that's not how you use either. God damn it. It's going to be alright, Justin. Oh, now we get...
Justin! Oh, I have such a perfect fucking visual image of this guy now with his vertically striped shirt and popped collar and excessively gelled hair.
Oh, and here's the best part.
Yeah.
For 20 years of my life was normal until the day I lost my family. Bullshit. You had a nervous breakdown, started ripping your room apart, screaming, punching things, and sobbing in the corner like you're catatonic, and then the next 20 years are perfectly normal. What? There was no therapy, there was no, Yeah, after I got that out of my system, I was fine for 20 years.
I was out playing ball with my son, Jacob.
So wait, we managed to get Toby in here and a Jacob.
You're left, Matt. Where are you at? Why haven't you come on stage yet?
As we shot the basketball, I started to feel dizzy. I told my son that I was going inside. Oh no. Right, as I sat on the couch, I heard the whistling noise. I couldn't remember it was the whistling noise that haunted me as a kid at the time. Proofread! I closed my eyes and dreamed. I saw my son, Jacob, with a tall, disfigured man, with a Cockney accent. I'm not going into perspective. All I knew was that he was tall and covered in drapes.
No, the curtain man!
I'm saying, isn't drapes another word for curtains?
Yeah, they were very ornate and very well stitched drapes. They were very classy.
Dad, help me! My son said to me, eyes filled with tears. Jacob... ... My voice trailed off. This was the last time I saw him. A week later, my wife disappeared. I have nothing left. I am depressed. I have never felt like this in my life. I sit in my empty house, awaiting the whistle to play once more... ... Then end!
Okay, so what do all the hundreds of thousands of comments say?
Okay, so there's 3 comments. They probably will not get any more because I expect this story will not last the week.
I was honestly surprised that it was still here. I'm like, oh.
Frankie22 says, I love this story and it had a great ending. The ending makes no sense.
What ending? No, Jacob, there was no ending. It stopped.
Sharpie the Killer says, beautiful ending. I loved this! 10 out of 10! And Insane Soul, and I think that's quite appropriate, says, I loved it. Great. 10 out of 10. More runs everywhere. Okay, Matt, what did you think of the story?
Well, it was random dumb crap that ended not so much with a bang, but more of a wet fart.
Yeah, I'm completely down with you on that. It wasn't the worst one we've ever read by a long fucking stretch. Like, this isn't the worst story. It's kind of the least story we've read in a while. Like, nothing of any consequence seems to happen through the whole thing. And then suddenly they'll drop a massive bomb and then go back to being really detailed about nothing. I was drinking my tea and I put a little bit of honey in there because I had a sore throat. And then a giant spider ate my face. It's just like, what?
And then went back to drinking the tea. It's a bit more difficult, but...
And you see, this is the sort of thing about creepypastas that I personally find very irritating. I'm like, this isn't a story. In a story, there's a rise and fall of action, a climax, and a conclusion. This just has never-ending... It's supposed to be build-up, but it stops before the climax, because nothing that happens is really climactic, because there's nothing he's working towards. He's just a kid, and then he falls on his head, he goes into the nether realm, and like, just sees shit, comes back, and then it just fucks him over at every turn. Plus, there's nothing inherently unnerving about whistling.
No. Well, another thing I just find really bothersome, it's kind of reiterating your point, but the thing that really annoys me is, like you say, it doesn't go anywhere. It's just sort of, it's just 3 pieces. It's like 3 acts, 3 pieces that barely feel connected. It's just childhood.
He hit his head,
which ends with him actually projecting.
Demons and crap.
And then then he's 12 and has a nervous breakdown. Then he's 20 and loses his family. Like, what is this about? And why does a guy wearing drapes show up? Thanks very much for watching, and thanks again to Joe, our special guest and patron, for supporting us on Patreon and for coming along, suggesting the story and being on the show. If you would like to see more videos like this one, you can hit the subscribe button. And yeah, that's it really. If you don't like the show, don't hit subscribe. See you next time.
Give us money anyway.
Yeah, just send us your money on Patreon. Just give us $100 a month for no reason. Do it.
Kind of like hate fucking, but with money.
Yeah, do that.